Hi, welcome back. I'm Joe, and this is the Ultimate Love Letter. Thank you for joining me today. Ready to hear what God has for us next? Thank you so much for being a part of this community and your comments on my YouTube channel. Yes, I'm on YouTube. If you don't know, now you know. I am on YouTube at The Ultimate Love Letter. And what we do is we stream all these conversations on YouTube the same day they drop on whatever streaming platform that you're listening on also goes to YouTube. And that way you're able to engage there. There's a video you can see, the background, the setting, you can see me. So if you haven't checked that out, I encourage you to please do so. YouTube at The Ultimate Love Letter. Also, thank you for everyone who's engaging in the different polls and the different questions that we have available on Spotify. Thank you for answering those and reaching me also on Instagram. I'm on Instagram at The Ultimate Love Letter, also on TikTok at The Ultimate Love Letter. On TikTok, I post snippets of our conversations. Also, I post my travel videos. For those of you who may not be following me on my other social sites, I am a world traveler. And so I'm always sharing these experiences with my community there as well, with all my followers. When I travel, these are very much trips that God has led me on. I never go anywhere that God does not lead. Or another way of saying it, everywhere I've been led by God. I've been traveling solo actually since I was 18, and that hasn't stopped. And I imagine it won't stop anytime soon. And something else I've been led to do just organically is just take you with me on these trips. The way I show these trips is really removing myself from the screen. Like, you're seeing what I'm seeing. The camera is facing outwards. It's not about me. Nothing I do actually is about me. It is all about God, and it is all about my relationship with God. And when I'm traveling, it's all about me and God, and I want to bring you. So it's you and God also. You're seeing it from the perspective of how I'm seeing it. So please check that out. That is on TikTok. Also, I'm on Threads at, oh my goodness, I think it's either Joe Galvan or The Ultimate Love Letter. And that's only because I changed my handle on Instagram to The Ultimate Love Letter. And so I'm assuming that changed over. I have to check that out now. I'm assuming that changed over on Threads, but I'm also on Threads. And, the cool thing that I love about Threads is any idea, any thought that just pops in my head throughout the day, I just take it to Threads and I just one line it. I just throw it out there. And it's, for anybody who catches, that spontaneous moment, that word that God just lays on my heart, I just kind of throw it out there for whoever is out there, whoever it's meant for, because we already know we serve a big, creative God who desires to touch everyone. So usually those one-liners are just for whoever God intends them to be. So check that out. Check me out also on Threads. With that being said, today I want to discuss the power of becoming everything we intend on becoming. Or another way I want to word it is, how do we become everything that we desire to become? And I was thinking about this as I'm reading now. I'm reading Essentialism. And I'm getting so much out of it. When I first started reading this book, I thought it was going to be about physically removing the non-essential. right? Like we live in a world where it's all about material gain and obtaining possessions. And in my home, I'm no different, right? I have hundreds of books. I love candles. I love incense. What else is? I'm looking around my place. What do I have? I love pillows and blankets and lottery tickets. And so Tiffany lamps, right? I have like 2, 3, 4 Tiffany lamps or imitation Tiffany lamps, right? They're stainless glass lamps. Anyway, so I'm no different. I love beautiful, comfortable surroundings. And I thought essentialism was going to be about, just the bare necessities. And even though it is definitely about removing the clutter of our life, it doesn't only necessarily mean our closets. It means our entire life, like everything that's non-essential and the ability and how you remove those things. So what it talks about is, yes, removing the non-essential clothing from our closets. The clothes that we have had for many years, we no longer fit, we don't wear, but we're like, one day, when I'm so-and-so, I may need that blazer, but we never wear it, right? So he talks about how to remove those items to make room for items that are essential. The same with the opportunities that we take, the friendships that we keep. Why do we hold on to opportunities, or why do we accept opportunities that are good, that really just prevent us from achieving or allowing the opportunities to come that are great? If we're filling up our life with opportunities that are just good enough, then we don't have room for the opportunities that come along that are great, opportunities that are aligned with us completely. Same with friendships. I was one of those people. I'm no longer that person, but I used to be one of those people that, just for the sake of not wanting to be alone, I would just hold on to friendships that were good enough, quote unquote. I don't want to be by myself. So I'll keep these friendships that are mediocre around, even though I know deep in my spirit, these friendships were not aligned with me. They were not fulfilling me. It was just for the sake of, I have someone around to call when I want to talk or go have lunch with. And that really prevented me from attracting those great, more fulfilling, more aligned friendships. So that is what essentialism is all about. It's about removing the clutter, the mundane, the just okay, the non-essential from your life, so that you're able to make room for the only things that are essential. And that goes for our focus as well. Like if we're focused on a million things that we must do in a day, and I mean, quote unquote, must, meaning it's on our list, we want to achieve it, but maybe they're not all essential. In fact, they are not all essential. It's all about prioritizing what I must do today. And really, it's also biblical, right? Because when we draw closer to God and when we have this relationship with God, He actually weeds out what is priority today. I mean, those are one of His promises, and I'm living proof He does it. Yeah, it may seem like I have a to-do list of 10 things, but God is like, nope, you're going to do 1, and then you're going to do 2, and then we rest. And that's just the Spirit of God within us guiding us to just, again, organically, what is essential and what's not. So it's just a beautiful read. I highly recommend it. It's Essentialism. And the author is, let me get that. Essentialism by Greg McKeown. And when we're speaking about how do we become everything we want to become, really that goes to removing everything that we're not. So let me say it again. We become everything we want to become by removing the non-essential things that are not that person. So who do we want to become? For me, I'll just use myself as an example. Who do I want to become? I had spoken to God. I wanted to live a life aligned with the authentic me, meaning I wanted to only do business with the things that I'm passionate about, with the people that I'm passionate about, working and living saturated in all that I'm passionate about. I did not want to leave room to engage in anything that was not completely me, that did not serve me completely. So when I think about, the career that I held at one point, which I was in hospitality, I managed hotels my entire life. I've done that for, 27 years. And then even after I stepped out in faith and I quit that job, that career, my business that I created was very much hospitality. We supply hotels with temporary staff. Again, not aligned with who I am, right? I no longer was aligned with being a hotel worker. I've grinded my whole life. Listen, I started working at 17. I am now going on 47. I'm done with the grind. I'm done. I have now learned my truth that I am able to live and do a playful life and still earn a living. That's the truth. Well, then, okay, if that's the truth, then how do I step into that truth? And how I did it was I increased my faith. If God is saying I'm able to go and do and work in a situation that serves me, serves others, serves Him, and I'm going to be completely cared for, and my lifestyle is not going to change, it's only going to increase, I had to believe that with everything in me. First. This wasn't about, I'll just quit. I'll just quit the business and I'll just go all in. I mean, yes, that is really honestly what it takes. That's the leap of faith. But to be able to get there, I needed to first trust that when the time came for me to let these things go, that I would be totally supported. It all starts with our mindset. So my first thing was I needed to believe. And to believe, to get my faith up, I needed to spend time with God. I needed to be in meditation. I needed to be in prayer. I needed to be journaling. I needed to be reading. I needed to be just talking to God throughout the day. I needed to be testing God, actually. I needed to be like, okay, God, I'm not going to move on this one opportunity that brings me fast cash. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to watch and see what you can do with the bills that come, with the trips that I want to take. I'm going to let go of this one mundane opportunity that doesn't serve anything other than giving me quick cash, right? And cash is just a tool. I'm going to let that go and I'm going to let you provide for it. And as I let those things go, that one little opportunity, for instance, God moved, right? Nothing was missed. A payment wasn't missed. I didn't miss a trip that God asked me to go on. He provided in ways that I don't know how He provided. He provided in a million different ways. When you look at it, it's magic, essentially. I can't say any one thing, or I can say many one things that He did, but I can't really pinpoint all that He did. All I know is that I flowed. Bills were still paid. Money was still coming in. Trips were still taken. Credit was still going up. God moved. So then I say, okay, God, I see you. I'm not going to then, or rather, I see you, God. My faith is going up. What more are you asking me to let go? What more can I trust you? A little bit more in becoming all that I intend. So when God put this on my heart, starting the podcast, and this took me several months to get off the ground because I just did nothing with it. I just sat with it, the thought of it, sat with God, sat with what that meant, what that looked like for me to take to a platform several times a week and just speak God's truth. That would take bravery, courage. It would take time. It would take me sitting deeper in meditation with God, in communion with God. That's what it would take. Once I came to the point to move on it, I found that I love it more than anything. It's actually one of my favorite things to do now in life. So what it means to become everything we want to become is to remove anything that we're not. So if you want to be an actor, if you want to maybe be on the Olympics team, what does it mean to be, let's just take Olympics. What does it mean to be on the Olympics? We have to train, right? Rigorously. We have to eat a certain amount of calories. We have to eat a certain amount of whey. Maybe we need to be sleeping 8-9 hours a day. We need to be training maybe 8, 9, 10 hours a day. I have no idea what it takes to be an Olympic athlete. It just seems beautiful and extreme, and it takes a lot of willpower, a lot of focus. So what it doesn't mean to become an Olympic athlete, it is certainly doesn't mean being out all night in the club. It certainly doesn't mean being on Netflix and Hulu and eating a bag of chips every night. It certainly doesn't mean only getting an hour of sleep every night. So again, if you want to be an Olympic athlete, you cut out the fat, out the things that don't support that lifestyle. And then you're only left with the essentialism that supports becoming an Olympic athlete. Someone who is well slept, well fed, exercising regularly, someone who is meditating. It takes a lot of mental willpower to compete at that level. And you can apply this to anything you want to be. I know I mentioned singer. If you want to be a successful singer, I'm not a singer, but I imagine you need to conserve your voice. You need to heal your voice. You need to be practicing rituals that support the healing of your voice. Maybe that's herbs and different teas. Maybe it's not speaking excessively when you don't need to. It is definitely practice. So you're engaged in your craft, I'd imagine daily. And if you're using your voice daily to practice, then maybe you're not out in loud environments where you have to scream and use your voice excessively. Maybe you're not at parties. Maybe you're only putting the finest ingredients in your body. Also, well slept. Also, possibly well read. Everything we want to become also takes a level of knowledge. Are we reading others? Are we reading books where others have shown us the way on how they were able to achieve those very things that we want to achieve, whether it's being a successful singer, whether it's being an Olympic athlete, where it's being a podcaster? What are the things that support what you want to do in your life and who you want to become? What are the ingredients that make up that person? I encourage you to sit with that and decide, I want to be this person. This is what I look like in the future. I look like I'm rich. I look like I'm owning a big, beautiful home. I'm looking like I have more free time, more time to play, more time to travel. If that's what it looks like, for instance, if that's what it looks like for you, your life, your future life, your ideal life, then great. Hold that picture and then back it up a bit. Now, what does the lifestyle look like of the person who's living that life? If you're saying you want to be rich, okay, what does that lifestyle look like? What practices of the wealthy, what do they keep? What do they do? I guarantee you, for the most part, they're well read. They're reading financial books. They're reading mindset books. Because all wealth, whether it's spiritual, mental, wealthy in your bank account, wealthy in assets, it all begins with your mindset. It's your mind first. So it's getting into the research that will support a healthy mindset. Then maybe you're reading also financial books, business books. This is the work that it takes to becoming everything we intend. This is not witchcraft or wishy-washy thinking. This is not just sitting on the couch saying, I want to be rich one day. Let me continue to scroll on Hulu and eat a bag of chips. Well, now you're just wishful thinking. There's no action there. There's no real intent there. Intent is a very powerful thing, and I'm glad I used that word, because to intend something is to focus, to say, that is what I'm going to do. And then your actions support that intention. So to say, I want to be rich one day, but then you do nothing but go out all night with your friends. Maybe you're consuming drugs. Maybe you're hanging with the wrong crowd. You're just wishful thinking. Your intent means nothing. Your intention is exactly what you're doing. You're intending to be out all night with the wrong crowd. That's your intent, and you're creating your life according to that powerful intent. Versus if you say, I want to be rich and successful, then okay, that means I'm going to be studying on whatever business idea that I want to go into, whatever mindset I need to be in to create that wealth. I need to be focused on that. So that means I cannot spend 5 hours a day consuming television. That means I can't be out every day with the girls in the bars. That means I can't be up all night just engaged in low-level activity. I need to be focused on my intention. I want to be rich. I want to create this successful podcasting career. I need to be focused and dialed in. And I need to remove the non-essential. So for me, I'm focused in on our platform. I'm building this for us. I'm building this for God. So what does my day look like? Let's talk about that. My day looks like this. I rise in the morning, usually about between 6 and 7. This morning I rose at 6:58. I immediately made